till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? Welcome into Pregaming here at Sports Money. Quickly becoming your preeminent destination for all things considered in the world of sports gambling here. Happy to be back, ready to attack you guys. Excited here. We've got the NHL's Frozen Frenzy. I love it. We got games popping off now, right now, all the way through. The final face-off will be 11 p.m. If you want to know, I'll tell you, I already fired on the Flyers. I don't like to come in and rush to give a play out right off the gate, but we'll get to the show and we'll get to the business of the business here. But I'm on these Philadelphia Flyers to pop this thing off. It's going to start here in just a few momentos. And some big action, some big opportunity on this thing here. It is a frenzy tonight because we've got the NHL, every single team in play. We've got ourselves action in college football. 2 games going on out there. We've got the NBA starting back up. This regular season is about to fire off today. We've got plays out there as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. Can't wait to get after it. As I mentioned, the Flyers right off the gate. I'm going to Sammy Harrison, the go-to guy. Now, the Flyers have been on the shit the bed train. 0-3-1 in their last 4 games. However, look, they had that Pacific Northwest start, right? Things were going on all over the place. Lots of time on the road. And yeah, they came back. They lost their first game. Not only did they lose it, they're embarrassed in that first game back home, but not all homestands are created equal. They played 4 games on the road, and it was the furthest they could possibly be from Philadelphia in that circumstance there. So we're going to give them a break out there. We're going to expect it was Vancouver. You know, Vancouver wasn't going to lose forever. They got shut out. But what do we do when teams get shut out? We like to double down on them, and that's what we're going to do here to pop this thing off. So just before we get started, I wanted to give that one to you guys here to get us moving in the right direction. And it's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. We've got Rangers, Canadiens. I'll tell you what. I could have had a play on every single NHL game today. I love it. I was going to start firing off some cocktails. That's how much I love this hockey slate. But I figured, you know what? We'll get to it. But we're going to go Colorado, Seattle, Carolina, Edmonton, Pittsburgh, and Calgary plays out there. Sammy Houston, FIU. There's some action in Sammy Houston, FIU. Actually, there's 2 spots of action for me in that game. As shitty as these next 2 days of college football look, thought I found some good spots to cook the book. Then we're going to get to the NBA. And why not? The Knicks and the Celtics. You know we're going to get some action there. T-Wolves and the Lakers. You know we're going to get some action there. And I got a parlay in the NBA for you guys. So I'm ready. I'm ready to attack. You know, we got to get through this recap here. We'll go through it quickly from last night. Dialed in as far as spots were concerned. Now listen. Tampa Bay shit the bed. There's no question about it. That was just an outright shitting of the bed. But as far as the NFL games, we're dialed in. Now we lost Tampa plus 4.5. Mike Evans is the factor that cost us that game. But they did come back to cover the teaser. Well, push the teaser. With Tampa and the over. But oh my gosh, we're talking about one game having a shit ton of points. It was that Tampa game. Then we talked about one game having no points. That was the Arizona game. So we did cash that under 44.5. You know, pains me to talk about the Godwin, Dobbins, Kucherov 4+ shots parlay plus 675. Kucherov had that thing damn near the first period. Godwin, though. Godwin catches that touchdown and they call it back. That hurts. But we did cash. This guy. This guy was an easy casher for us here. Fucking Baker had almost 365 yards, I think was the total out there. He crushed that number. He was almost at that number in the first. And you know what's looking good? When he's got 180 passing yards in the first half and they're down. Yeah, that's what we wanted to see. And then we got ourselves a little Connor Man, that guy went over 100. 2 easy looks out there. But I'll tell you what. Public prop fails again. Biggest public prop out there. Everybody loved Dobbins to go crush it. And when you know what's going to happen, you got to scheme against it. And that's what them Arizona Cardinals did out there. 17-15 game, but I don't know. Was it really that close? I know they were down. What was it, 9-7? They were down that 2 points, but I doubled back down. I didn't expect them to lose that game. Fuck Justin Herbert, man. That guy's a bitch. Straight up. Justin Herbert, you're a bitch, dude. Fucking loser. On Sunday, I was against him. I just know he's a loser. The guy's a loser. 40 yards, Pat, rushing for J.K. Dobbins. Man, what are you going to do? We're on the right side there. So, expected that game to go the way it did. It sure did for us. We made some money. Not a ton of money last night. We're not going to celebrate it, but we're going to celebrate tonight's money. So, can't wait to fire it off with you guys. I mentioned I might even add some late card action for the NHL because the card for me stops. Well, I guess it doesn't really stop, right? Pittsburgh going to be a 9:40 game, but I'm going to fire away on that San Jose and Kings game too. I just want to see how the early reads look to dictate, am I dialed in or am I shitting the bed? And that's not what we want to do. So let's get to work, you guys. If you haven't done so yet, you know the deal. We are listener supported. We need you guys. We need your help. We need your time. We need your best bets. But more importantly, we need you to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, post the comment section, hit that little thumbs up, and then come back into the comments and we'll get this show started. We'll take a second to give everybody the opportunity to help us grow this thing out there. YouTube loves seeing the thumbs up. It means that you guys are here. And everybody else that falls under the demographic of you guys will get recommended this show, which is super huge when you hear about this SEO. All right, let's go. Let's get to work here. Let's bust off this game, this card. We got to move this monitor over just a smidge. Just a smidge so I can one-eye the hockey game. One-eye the hockey game out there. Thank you guys for coming in to spend this evening together with us here. Unfortunately, no Dana White Contender Series, but we'll be back and ready to attack on Thursday for some Thursday night football. Get ready for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know the deal. The co-stream is back in effect with our guy Razor Sharp Picks, the Sports Money crew. We're going to do what we do. That is get paid in the gridiron game. But before we get to Thursday, we got Tuesday, we got Wednesday in front of us here. But let's do it here, guys. Make sure you get that pen and paper ready. It's that time. We're going to write down these plays, write down these trends. The best in the business assemble here right before the puck drops, right before the ball tips off. They want to give you guys their best bets. They're going to share their hard work that we've been all grinding on the card all day and are ready to go and try to get winning tickets. So write that stuff down. And of course, make sure you guys do take the time to throw your plays in the chat. Let's recognize the action you guys are involved with. And 99.4% positive commenting. First commenting ratio out there. Our guy Joe T. Man, we're wobbly today, huh? We're exceptionally wobbly today. Joe T's in the house. He's down there in Las Vegas. He's trying to kick some ass and take some names, and he's giving you guys his F your under play of the day. His war on terror in the under market continues. Colorado, Seattle Kraken, first period over 1.5, and I fully concur. We'll talk about that game shortly. NJ Strikers in the house. There's Flea Mathis. Zane Cole's ready to go. Gonzo's fired up. Johnny C's ready to roll. He says, Mike's time to shine with NHL in full swing. Man, I'm ready to go. I got player props galore. I don't think I have any for the show here, but I'll give you some if we get time to talk about it. Barry's in the house. Says, I need a big Tuesday, Mikey. Let's go. Jay Main, Jay Peasy. This is, please don't tell me you're betting on the Habs again. No. Nathan Cerna says Capitals plus 1.5. Okay. All right, Nathan Cerna. I see you, my guy. Our guy Gonzo's in the house, though. He's rocking with us. He's got the model in play. Dallas Moneyline, Rangers puck line. Winnipeg Moneyline, Vancouver puck line, and the Utah Hockey Club. The Utah Yeti as they will be known, as we talked about before. Voodoo Rangers got Gustafsson under or over 28. Oh, he's asking. He's asking. Over 28 saves. Voodoo Ranger. Yeah, I'll fire him off for you. I like that game to go under. It's not no official play for me, but it was 6s and then steamed down to some 5.5s. If it's going under, these goalies are making some saves out there, but I do think it's a Florida spot. Interesting lines on that card today. Robert McCormick's here. Marcus Red Sox Patriots says, welcome to the NBA season. All about them nips, says Avs over here. Andrew G says, breaking news, Mikey. Rams looking to trade Cooper Kupp, and I hope the Chiefs don't grab him. No. I agree. That would be not good. It makes sense for him to go there. Why would he want to go there? That's another guy, man. He's always injured. You know, he made a name for himself. He had a great season, but it seems like he's just soft. Charmin soft, that guy out there. I did hear, who was the other guy that the Rams, there's a couple defensemen that are on the prowl right now, and I thought one of them was in LA that was looking to get the hell out of there too, but I can't remember. Andrew G. I hope it doesn't go to the Chiefs, though. You're right. Absolutely right. Let's go. Trisha M says, Moolah got extra pep in his step tonight for you. Fucking right, I do. I'm excited. I got hockey for the next, I don't know, what do we got? Hockey for the next 10 hours almost? Probably not 10, right? That's a little egregious. We got 9 hours probably of hockey in front of us here. Let's turn the stream on. You guys can watch me fire down some cocktails as we continue to bet away on this card here tonight. That would be a lot of fun. Shout out to Joey Harp. Joe W's in the house says, let's get this cash. And all about them nips. Fully loaded on the Florida game also. Nasty Nate's reminding you guys, hit that thumbs up button. In all fairness, you know, some of you guys aren't in the business of the business, but when it comes to this business, that does help a ton. And it just lets people know that this is a show that, you know, everything's measured by technology, algorithms, as you guys have heard time and again. And it helps recommend us in that algorithm of people that fall under the same likes, criteria, demographic as you guys that are here watching. So help us get recommended to more people so we can keep growing this damn thing. Joseph Alvarado says, sports money in the house. Nasty Nate says, I'm at Mountain Washington and still hit the like button. Man, I saw Nasty Nate posted a little video this morning, or a little, you know, he was enjoying the devil's lettuce and a beautiful, beautiful scenery out there. Hugh Janus is in the house. Tarek B. NBA game 1 under, game 2 over. Do believe, there is a shorthanded goal by one Washington Capitals. Man, I don't know how you let up shorthanded goals. Torts is going to be pissed. 27 seconds left in that power play, and Washington, Dowd, scores a goal. I almost wasn't going to say that Flyers game early. Every time I feel like we rush in there to get a play out there, it's early though. Let's not hit the PD panic button just yet. Keith's in the house, my dude. Let's go. Marcus Red Sox says I stay smashing the like in the AM stream and only in one on pregame show 2 times a day. I read that poorly. Shout out to you, Marcus. NJ Circus is going out to have a few and catch the first night of the NBA. Good Knicks and Nasty Nate. It's Nasty Nate's season, man. Celtics trifecta and the Celtics second quarter for our guy, Nasty Nate. Let's go. Winner Circle says, Ayo, Stars, Celtics. LBJ over 1.5 3-pointers for Winner Circle. All right. Let's dig in. Let's get to this card here. We got a full card in front of us. We want to keep it moving briskly so I can get to my business. My business tonight is cocktailing and hockey. So we're going to see what that looks like here. Actually, got the next screen fired up. I'm going to keep an eye on that FIU game because I've got 2 plays in it. So let's go. Let's talk about this Rangers and La Habitants, right? The Montreal Canadiens hosting them New York Rangers. And probably the word of the day for this game is showdown. We have 2 goaltenders in showdown status. Statis. Igor Shesterkin. Oh, we got to fight. We got to fight. They're fighting. They're fighting. Hit him with your purse. Let's go. Little slap. Little left-hand slap. Up they move in. Washington, big bruiser in Washington out there, taking the aggressive, coming in with the big overhand right. Oh, man. Shaking him up a little bit, just getting a little catch to the ear, punching the helmet. Oh, he catches a stiff right. The helmet pops off. Flyers guy getting in trouble early. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's going to be a fun night tonight. All right, so we got Shesterkin popping off here, and this guy is the guy. Man, they're still fighting. Betting on himself, did not sign the $8 million a year, 11-year, $88 million deal. Said, I'm worth more. We're going to reset the goalie market. These boys are firing. Still firing. That's it. They're going to be going again. Mark that one down. They will be going again, probably in the next period, because they got to be exhausted. Man, Flyers dude took some beating, though. Look at his eyes. Look at his face. Bleeding. Cut him open. Rangers, Shesterkin. 5th time in 6 games, this guy gets to start. 3-0-1 on the season. He's got a 2.61 goals against average and a 93.5% save percentage. He's firing. Firing on all cylinders out there. And the Rangers are killing it. And I hate to say it, right? I hate to be on that side of things here. But we look on the other side, and we have Samuel Montembeault. He's got a 2-2 record on the season. He's 307 goals against average. So he's in that. Started out strong, kind of found himself in the serviceable, yet 93.2%. Why? Because the Canadiens have not been playing defense. They're also losing. They're on an 0-2-1. They've lost 3 straight games, and they're getting outscored. 14-7 is a bad combination when you bring this guy into the net. Started the season off 72 of 73 saves for the first 2 games, but we talked about these guys trying to find the back of their baseball card, if you will. And since then, 0-2, 86.7%, certainly on a slump. Add insult to injury. Is it Slafkovsky? Can't be. Slafkovsky. Slafkovsky, that's the one I was trying to say. Slafkovsky, offensive juggernaut for this Canadiens team. Out of the game. Bad spot for that as well. So you're struggling to score. Your goaltender's leaking like a sieve. You got one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team, with the hottest goaltender in the NHL coming into town. And guess what that means? You want to fade him. Exactly how do we want to fade him? We're going to lay the puck line out there. It's a terrific puck line position for this New York Rangers team. In fact, as we look at the numbers, the Rangers on the road, when the opponent's last game went over and the Rangers' last game went under, they are 19-8. That means they're on the road. They're playing defense. The opponent's getting scores and not playing defense, which falls under what we just talked about with Montreal. And they're going out there and they are paddling those backsides. Winning on average by almost 3 goals a game should be plenty enough for us to cover that puck line and catch a nice plus money price to get it done. Do you agree or don't you? You guys tell me what you think. Nathan Cerno went Sam Houston first half money line. Big Scott's in the house. He's got a 4-leg parlay for us. 10-1, Kraken, Flames, Utah, and the Ducks. For our guy, Big Scott in the house. My shoes. I hope Utah beat Chicago again today. I believe they're playing Chicago today, but I think it's a good Utah spot. Shout out to Subhuman, says evening sports money. Hope everyone's doing well. Cameron Sedette says Rangers lead the way. That's how we're going to pop this card right in the mouth, much like them Flyers did to that Capitals out there. That was a good little momentum changing spot. You know, hockey, you think about it, right? Hockey loves the even up call. They also love the fight somebody to get the momentum going back in your direction out there. And somehow the Capitals end up on a power play. But let's keep her going. Let's move on to game number 2. Hear you guys talking about this. I try to go sequentially down the card as well. So, we look at this one here. Suspect line alert. Maybe. Minus 120 on this line right now. It's not really moving. It's kind of that line stabilization that we've talked about. The Colorado Avalanche opened at minus 126. They're now sitting at minus 120. The Kraken went from plus 105 to plus 106. So it's pretty split. This is an 8:30 start for these two teams. No official goalie confirmation when I last looked. Let me refresh and see. I still see Annunen and Grubauer Annunen should be the guy. Justice Annunen at 1-1 on the season, 2.68 goals against average. Philip Grubauer, 1-2 on the season, but a 3.07 goals against average, 87.7%. This Seattle Kraken team falls under that criteria of one of them teams that's struggling to figure out a way to, keep the scoring down. Now granted, their last game off that Calgary spot, they did win that game 2-1. They're on themselves a nice 4-1 in their last 5 stretch as well, this Kraken team. Yet they open up small dogs. 2-1 over Calgary. Big win for them because Calgary's been streaking. That was an easy under. Beat up Philadelphia. Of course they did. Why not? Nashville, of course, kind of stinks right now. Nashville, I believe, the only winless team in the NHL. Colorado, on the other hand, though, tough start for their season. No doubt about it. But, that was a little East Coast roadie. We know that they struggle on those trips out there. We had a stat going that last year that they had like a 14-game losing streak when they played the second end of a back-to-back against metropolitan opponents on the road. And we look at this Colorado Avalanche team now, though. What gets you right? A good old slump buster. They busted up them Anaheim Ducks 4-3 at home. They took a little roadie over to San Jose, and they bust up them Sharks. There's another winless team in the NHL, in the San Jose Sharks. They busted them up 4-1. They busted them up nice. And San Jose is struggling to score galore. Tricky because, again, we're still waiting to hear the official goaltender confirmation. But I don't want to overcomplicate this one to me. It's kind of an not really an intersecting point, but this is Scorefest. This one should be that scoring game out there. I talked before about the number 5. We talked about this the other day. There hadn't been a game all season there. The Kraken, 5 goals or more, scoring 5 goals or more till they get shut out by Dallas, 7-3, 6-4, then that 2-1 game against Calgary. So things are starting to right size a little bit. But when Colorado's on the road, after they played an under and the opponent went under, they're 20-8 to the over. And they're leading the margin. So 20-8 to the over. I thought about the goals in this game. Again, especially with the goaltending matchup, it's just hard to take a total when you're not sure where you're going with that one. But what I have seen and how this kind of correlates for this number for me is in those situations where it's over, the Avs are cashing their team total 75% of the time, which means they're scoring goals. And what do the Kraken struggle with when they're a coin flip? Coin flip meaning between -115 and +115. Well, they're bad when they play playoff teams. 0-13 are them Seattle Kraken. So you got a Colorado Avalanche team scoring, covering their team total in 75% of the games when both opponents went under the previous spot. You got a Kraken team that's losing when they're a coin flip against stronger teams. And now you got this stronger team in Colorado coming into this thing, winning 2 straight games, trying to get the monkey off their back. This is not one of them overthinking situations out there. Nab these Colorado Avalanche. A month from now, this same game is going to be priced -165 for Colorado. Maybe -155 because they are technically on the road. So we're going to take them Avs. We're going to see if they can bust up Seattle. I do believe they're scoring. I just can't tell you to take look at this. Over 3.5 is +120 for Colorado. Like there's a great look, I think, in terms of a nice plus money spot. We just don't know who's going to be in, on the goaltending side of the house just yet. So that's where we're going to go is just take Colorado here to start this thing off. So I said I might have to come back and release a second card here if we can do enough in the NHL early. I think that's going to be this way to get it done there. But I see Big Scott. I get you on them Kraken. I just think it's a tough spot for them. I know they're not a playoff team at the spot, but it's when they play a playoff team. And that was the Colorado Avalanche. So, yeah, the thing is about the injured players is they're all baked into the line. That's why I always remember a couple of years ago when I used to watch shows and guys couldn't give out the NBA plays because they're like, I got to wait and see what the injury report looks like. It's already in there, dude. We talked about that last year. We weren't seeing egregious moves in the line because the bookmakers already know. They already know. It's already factored in. And I think to some degree, that's why we're catching this Avalanche team at that lower price point. But I do like goals. I just can't, in good conscience, tell you guys to jump in there and fire on something until I know at least who's likely to be the goaltending situation out there. Right now, it's still unknown, but let's go on. Let's get the third game of, well, I guess it's the fourth game now because we covered this Flyers game, sort of. But we're going to take a look at this. Talk about playoff teams. Playoff battle. Carolina Hurricanes, Edmonton Oilers. Going to pop this third game or fourth game of the card for us here now. Again, because we covered that Flyers spot. We got a little bit more clarity here. We do have confirmation in goaltenders. This one, potential low-scoring playoff battles. What is the potential? Carolina Hurricanes going to Frederik Andersen. He's 1-1 on the season. He's got a 1.53 goals against average, 93.6% save percentage. It's plain stuff. We talked about it. You know, he was hurt last year. Coming into this thing, though, 1-1, because that Carolina team is kind of struggling to find their legs about themselves. But, look at it. Edmonton. Where's their struggle right now? Scoring. They're getting outscored 24-12 in the last 6 games. That's how you end up 2-4. No joke about that. Then we have Skinner popping off for this Edmonton Oilers team at 1-3. So you got a team that can't score, and you got a guy that's struggling to stop a beach ball with a 4.02 goals against average, an 85.1% save percentage. You could look at this line and think suspect line. I could certainly understand anybody saying that, but when you start peeling it back and you see who's starting in goal, who's not playing well in goal, what's going on with these two teams. Skinner's allowing 3 goals on 23 shots in his last game out there. He's struggling. 4th start for him, though, in 5 games. They're going to let him work it out. They've got the confidence in him. They're not going to panic. We saw this slow start for the Edmonton Oilers last year as well. And as I started looking into this one, started to get into the weeds a little bit for me, I wish and the number wouldn't reflect it, but if we saw, the Oilers, if we saw Carolina come off a win against St. Louis a couple nights ago, I would love this spot. Right now, I just really like this spot. And it's that Edmonton situation at home. Now, they're coming back home. They had Nashville. They won that game. Then they were at Nashville. They were at Dallas. They got busted up by Dallas 4-1. Something fierce. We were on that under. Dallas and Holmes are under. Remember? We talked about that. Write that one down. But what do the Oilers do at home when it's an under? Off and under, the Oilers at home are 43-13. They do have a nice little home ice advantage. And we got this Hurricanes team, not just back-to-back road trips. Now they're third in their last 4 days. But they also had to cross the border to get into Edmonton. That does add a little bit. I know we talked about that before, and you can dismiss it for some of these spots, but when you're on a long road trip and then you got to deal with that shit after taking an L 4-3, ugly situation, ugly spot to be in here. Maybe it's too square. Maybe it's too square to jump in on these Oilers, but I'm taking them. Now, we talked about one of the best. Now, they're not at home, so preface that by saying they're not at home. But we talked about one of the best teams off a loss, bounce back situation, Carolina Hurricanes, and an under, but they're not at home. The road trip factors into this thing here. And I think, Edmonton's going to want to come into this thing. The fans going to be loud and rowdy, raucous. It's that frozen frenzy. It's a tough travel spot to get to. Lots of good things going on, I think, for the Edmonton Oilers in this spot here. And I know it's a low price point. Doesn't scare me because if you look at the way these two teams are playing right now, the price makes sense despite it being such a short. How can you make if they made the Oilers minus 160, would anybody take them? Knowing that they're in a struggling position right now? No. They priced it where they did because they want action on both sides of this game. I could see it being lower scoring. At first glance, I could see it being lower scoring, but for me, I'm just going to take the Oilers. I like the little Edmonton action in this game. And we'll bring her to a close in the NHL before we move into some college football. Let's talk about this last game that I was looking at for you guys. Again, love to use the trends to help me wrap my hands around making sense of this thing and making sense of this 9:30 game. We got Calgary hosting them Pittsburgh Penguins. Fighting them Penguins are to be the oldest team in the league. Now, you look at the money's coming in on Calgary. Sure, I get it. Money is pouring in on the over. Pouring. 95% of the cash loves scoring in this game. Does that make sense? We'll find out, because as we looked at it, the previous situation, these two goaltenders, still, let me see if they confirmed them. Let me see. We confirmed. All right. Nedeljkovic, fucking vowels. Nedeljkovic is going to be starting for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 0-1 on his season out there. 5.0 goals against average and an 86.1% save percentage is Nedeljkovic. Just made his last start. He returned from injury. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that 5 because, he was returning from injury. He did have a nice first period. He stopped 11 shots in that first period coming back. It was the second period that got ugly. He let up 5 goals. There's no way around it. It was ugly, as ugly as it gets. But it was to the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets are one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team. There's a couple of them right now in the NHL, and the Jets are one of them that fall under that criteria, just kicking the shit out of everybody. Thing about Pittsburgh, what's happening? They're struggling to score. They're outscored 31-24 their last 7 games as well. That's how you get to a 3-4 mark. Got a goalie that they're showing confidence in, trying to see if he can bounce back. Dustin Wolf's on the other side. Wolf, how about this? We talked about him last year when he was in the AHL. Came back up, filled the void a couple of times out there, and Calgary Flames, don't look now. 4-0-1 on the season. Playing the goalie rotation game to its finest. Wolf 2-0. Crazy 2.02 goals against average, 94.4% save percentage. Pittsburgh Penguins, I mentioned them getting outscored. The number doesn't really show the full story here. 31-24 in their 7 games. 10-4 in their last 2 games. I expect this to be an ugly spot for the Pittsburgh Penguins. This line does seem suspiciously low. If you got a goalie that can't stop a beach ball in that second period, you got another goalie that's playing Vezina Trophy finalist style hockey, a team that hasn't lost versus a team that can't score and win, and they're sitting at -114, and it hasn't moved all day. This is suspect line of the day for me, but the spot that I jumped in on is, if we are going to see that Pittsburgh potentially has an opportunity to win this game, well, I want to look for the goaltender to bounce back. We do have Wolf playing in phenomenal shape right now with that 2 goals against average. We're looking to see if this goaltender, now 1 game back from coming back from having his injury. Pittsburgh on the road is an under team. If both teams lost their last games, Pittsburgh on the road 4-14 to the under. 14-4 spot to the under in the last 18 times that it happened. I like that one because if you think about what it says is, if you lose a game, what do? You got to focus in on goaltending first and build your way out and play some defense. Now, I've gotten bitten by my last Pittsburgh under, but both teams coming off of losses as they are. Penguins lost 6-3 to Winnipeg. They don't want it. And that was the second period. If it wasn't for that 5-goal second period, that was a 3-1 type of game. Calgary loses to Seattle 2-1 on the road, coming back home again for a stand here against Pittsburgh. To me, they were showing a replay. I was like, did we score? Did we score? We didn't score. We haven't scored yet. But at +104 for a under 6.5, I think this is a good juicy spot for us to get involved with here. I expect lower scoring, middle of the week, ho-hum situation. Is sports money going live tonight, or did the Mike M calendar get booked up with promo code Keith? Asking for a friend. It was fun, wasn't it? Wasn't it when I was using the old promo code around the horn for everybody? KV's in the house. It says moneyline. Dallas, Winnipeg Jets, Vegas, hold your nose. Montreal, team total under 2.5. Chicago. Secondary look, Islanders in regulation. Over 1.5 in the first period with Toronto. All right. You guys want me to give you one more hockey play here? I got one more early play for you guys. Oh, and the line's doing exactly what I needed it to do. All right. It's not on the board. Let me add it on the board. We add it on the board. All right. Whoop. Whoop. Being an old school hockey guy, sometimes shit just makes sense. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that in a second. Toronto Maple Leafs, Columbus Blue Jackets. Everybody loves Toronto Maple Leafs in this game. 93% of the bets, 90% of the cash on the Maple Leafs. I get down with that first period over scoring. I could see that being the case for sure from KV there. But this one comes down to a situation where you've got effective special teams. That's the key to this thing, right? There's 3 ways they play hockey. They're 5-on-5, even strength. They're up a man or they're down a man, or potentially multiple men in that circumstance or situation. Now, things for the Blue Jackets are moving in a better direction. Merzlikins is back. Not playing tonight, but back. They're going to bring him back into the fold, get him ready to roll. And, right now, Columbus is in win one, lose one mode. They beat Colorado on the road 6-4. They lose to Florida 4-3. 2 playoff teams. Now, we can argue the merit of Colorado's playoff status right now, but Florida 4-3, tight game. They beat Buffalo 6-4. Sizable dog in that spot. Another fucking shorthanded goal? Are you kidding me? Oh, Tortorella looks like he's going to pop. Fuck. Damn. Anyways, coming off a loss 3-1 against Minnesota. Maple Leafs. Back-to-back, second leg of a back-to-back. It's a travel spot. They were home. They had a 4-game homestand. They had to travel internationally now to get to the States. And I talked to you guys about the strengths and weaknesses of these teams. And right now, great trend going on for this Columbus team. A little 65-48 spot. When you have a team that goes out there back-to-back games and locks down opponents on their power play, they've had power plays and they're scoring less than 20% of the time on there. That shows effective penalty killing for a team that's at home and a team that's on the second leg of a back-to-back with the international travel spot is that Toronto Maple Leafs team. The goaltending situation at first was what I really wanted to see, because when I jumped in this, when I looked at it, I saw Dennis Hildeby. Who? Yeah. He's going to get another start. Now, he did make his his last start was the second leg of a back-to-back. He did go 1-0. He did manage 2 goals against, but a 91.3% save, and they won that game. But Tarasov going back in the pipes, struggling, average with a 3.7 goals against average, 87.5% percentage, but, 2-1 in his record. So serviceable, average, playing a tired team. We should see Columbus score goals. Probably see Columbus team total over as well in this game. But this is a nice big price tag here. Columbus over 2.5 is -135. This is a nice +170. I told you I wanted to see it moving. It opened at 195. It went down to 170 right before the show started. 164s now, 162s, 160s, and 158 is starting to show its head out there. And FanDuel does not have the best number for the squad. So I took a little Blue Jackets action there. There's the last one for you guys. There we go. Let's see what we can do with that. All right, let's go. Let's go. Fucking Flyers. It's all right. It's early. It's early. I can shit the bed and come back. No problem. No problemo. If you want action in that lot tech game, you're a bigger degenerate than I am. I'll give you some trends for it. I don't have any plays in it, but I do have Sam Houston and FIU popping off at 7:30 p.m. And we got a little bit of action in this one here. This line's been kind of ping-ponging, or it's been fluttering a little bit. 82% of the bets and 73% of the cash are on Sam Houston. Get it. They're 5-2. Only 2-1 in conference, but FIU, this total's on the kind of on the uptick, I guess. 82% of the bets and 88% of the cash. I don't agree with that total move. I'll tell you what. We see, I mentioned Sam Houston being that 5-2 spot out there. The name of the game for this one is injuries, right? We kind of talked a little bit about that yesterday. And look, it wasn't pretty for FIU last week. We're going to know these teams really well, right? FIU, Utep spot out there. The over was easy money, but Utep finds a way to win. By 9 as a 7-point dog. They win the game by 9 outright against them FIU Panthers. Flip side, Western Kentucky Hilltoppers kicked the shit out of Sam Houston. Sam Houston rolled over, put their feet in the air and said, club me like a baby seal. And that's exactly what happened, 31-14 in that game. But I mentioned the situation for me with this game is injuries. The injury factors that came into this one are what I wanted to jump off at. Because, you look at these two teams, and the big thing for the way Sam Houston likes to play is they like to run the ball, right? They're very much, they're successful. They're 31.8 points per game on average. They're averaging 5.5 yards per play. But, man, they run the ball at a brisk pace. They keep 75th ranked nationally, 27.5 seconds per play out there. It's a rushing team. And their rushing leader, one of them, the quarterback. Quarterback injury status up in the air. But now that we're seeing this line come back, I'm going to believe that he's going to get out there and play in Watson. Which is fine because they want to run the ball anyways. The other side of things, though, Keon Jenkins. He's another guy that got injured. FIU struggled that game. He had that shoulder contusion that he took in that last game. And, I just think he's coming back. Frankly, guy playing out of Miami, now traveling over to FIU, 222.9 passing yards a game, not afraid to put the ball in the air. And, I love those teams that, when you got an offense that can go out there and connect against a team that likes to run the ball, well, if they get ahead, it's an air raid, which does, I think, play into the strength of this thing. But I'm going to look at these two teams to start slow. Now, the conference dogs are very much alive. And by the way, if you look at teams that are small spreads, less than a touchdown, and they're home dogs after week 5, it's about a 500 split. Small dog, less than a touchdown at home after week 5. So they're in conference play. They're familiar with these teams very much. They have time to prep and get ready for them. And they're 500. 500, though, in the dog roll is profitable. You're winning at 50%, and you're picking up spots that are like plus 195. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win this game. I'm not saying that. Do I think they have a chance, though? I do. Conference dogs rolling out 413 and 310 as well. So it has been a dog spot. We know publics love favorites. You see 5-2 with Sammy Houston, you're going to go, why not jump in here? But a team that should run the ball, playing on the road after an embarrassing loss. Do they want to come out and rebound? I think they do. But I think the way that they rebound in this game is that they want to control the clock early, which leads us to our guy Razor Sharp's tick, 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 tick. First half under with two teams that are hurt. They're not going to go out there and be explosive. They're not going to go out there and try to use their legs to stretch the ball. They're just going to do what they have to do to play chess and figure the other team out. It is conference play. And so I expect it to be, despite a fast pace that we see Sam Houston run, they want to dictate pace. They're a 6.5 point favorite. They're going to slow this thing down. That first half under 23.5 makes a ton of sense to me. The full game going under makes a ton of sense to me too. But what concerns me about the full game is that air raid capability that FIU has. And if they go down and they say, fuck it, and just start throwing the top over the thing, it's an ugly spot. But I want the points with FIU. I know they got some steam. I love the fact, you got an injured quarterback. It just takes one hit, potentially re-aggravate something, and that guy comes out of this thing. And not going to give up on FIU. I know that situation that took place last week was disappointing in the way they performed. I'm going to roll right back to him, though, because I do believe Jenkins comes back. He's ready to roll. And I think that shoulder contusion gets a little ice. Maybe it catches the needle. And he's back in action and ready to attack. So that's how we're going to play this game. It's a double dipper. Double dipper for us here. FIU plus 6.5. Let me see if that number's still out there. 23.5 still out there for the first half total. Oh, that's first half. Yeah, 6.5s are out there. Minus 104. Minus 105s, minus 110s, minus 130. Well, shop around. BetMGM, Caesars, FanDuel, and DraftKings all have 6.5s. Some of the other books are down to 6s at that point as well. So, expectation. Slow start, big finish. Maybe the game goes over. Maybe it's second half over situation as well. Something to take a look at. There we go. It says Razor Sharp. Shout out to everyone. What's up, fellas? Just in time to claim my $3 copyright. I'm going to copyright that son of a bitch and sell it to you, Razor. That's what I'm going to do. How about that? Gotta play some chess out here. Motherfuckers playing checkers. Let's go. These says, I have Conference USA 8-3-1 to the over for 2024 on my sheet. I believe it. It's an interesting number. Look at Sam Houston. Again, it's their pace of play that drives their games, though. Texas State 40-39. Utep 41-21. Then their quarterback gets hurt, and it's 31-14. It's our guy. That's stupid. All right, you guys, let's roll on. Let's go to the NBA. I told you guys I'd give you some trends for any of you guys that do need to get some action. I'll give you some numbers. I'm laughing because, this is another shit game with shit teams. UTEP gets themselves a win against FIU. Is it because of the quarterback situation? I think so. I think it was. They were up that game early, though, in all fairness. UTEP was storming around that thing. And, we were dealing with a La Tech team that stinks. UTEP's 1-6. La Tech's 2-4. Probably the advantage here is the quarterback for La Tech and the fact that they're at home. But, when I first looked at this one, I saw the number at 5.5, and I was like, no fucking way. 77% of the bets and 83% of the cash do agree, though, that La Tech is the way to go. It's moved from 5.5 to 6.5. This total is coming down from 51.5 down to 49.5, with 72% of the bets and 75% of the cash on the over. It's dropped 2 points. If I was going to play this game, it would be UTEP or nothing. For a couple of reasons. One, you watch the way La Tech plays. UTEP's not good, but La Tech is bad. Or maybe they're both bad and La Tech just underachieving. I don't know. But I know this. They didn't cover the spread. And that's a big factor when it comes to these La Tech games out there. La Tech, we talked about them before as well. They're one of the shittiest teams at covering the spread in the Conference USA. They're horrible. They just lost to New Mexico State 33-30. 12.5 points. I know we cashed in that game. But it was ugly. It was ugly. Their biggest claim to fame is they beat up Middle 10. They lost outright to FIU by 2 points. Remember that game a couple weeks ago? We talked about that one. These teams playing in the middle of the week. We're getting to know them really well. But this one just comes down to when a team like La Tech that's laying 12.5 ends up losing the game outright. Bad spot. La Tech 0-6 against the spread after they fail to cover a game by 15 or more points. They are losing those games on average 17.2 points a game. So run the math. You're getting 6.5 and a team's losing by 17.2. UTEP's a live dog. UTEP is very much a live dog, but I'm not looking to hunt with that dog. That's a CBS Sports Network game too, so there is some primetime exposure out there for that home team in La Tech. I just think that their quarterback is definitely the better player out there. UTEP's offense ranks 129th in finishing drives. Going to have a tough time, I think, establishing the run on that La Tech team, but I guess the problem is, can they go out there and throw the ball? And that's all I got for you guys. I got nothing for that game. I'm curious what you guys have. Anybody love La Tech out there? Let's see what you guys have to say. They'll fix his life when Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog and then sold it back to his friend Paul McCartney. Yeah. That's right. Razor's probably Googling it right now. How do I copyright this? Big Scott says, man, these odds are too good not to sprinkle $2 and $3 on it. Knicks Celtics double result. First half draw. Full game draw. Plus 24,000. Holy shit. Coins in the house. He leans a little La Tech action. We're going to get through this. We're going to get to it. 7:30 p.m. The NBA is back. And we're ready to attack. I know it's the first game, so you know my deal, though. You guys have seen, you rolled me long enough to know. Not one of those guys that talks about how excited it is for the season to come back, not to have any action. I got to wait 4 weeks, and then I'll make some plays. That's not the case here. We got money in game, and I want to share it with you guys. So let's go. We got this Celtics team open up as 4.5-point Favorites now -6 and seeing 6.5s out there. 69% of the bets and 72% of the cash like them Celtics. Total's kind of doing nothing. It's shading now to the over. 221.5. Sitting at 221.5. AOD. Look at you guys rolling. Everyone's like, we got it. Nasty Nate's got the Celtics trifecta. He likes the second quarter. AOD's got the second quarter Celtics spot. D-Gen special from Nasty Nate. Razor Sharp's got the Celtics. Hashtag do damage. Look at you guys. Ready to fire. Why not? I think overall, that was a banner raising ceremony, right? That's a big deal for Boston. That'll get them all jacked up. That'll keep them Knicks on ice just a little bit. But I wanted to attack the total in this game. And I want to see some points. Overall, defending champions, 11-1 in their last 12 games out there to open the next season in banner raising ceremony. They're 9-3 against the spread. 5 in a row when it comes to the cover. But I want to look at this total. And I want to see some points fly. This crowd is going to be fired up, ready to kick some ass and take some names. And we got some trends with these two teams when they're head-to-head that support this total. Overall, biggest component, these two teams 4-1 to the over the last 5 meetings in Boston. They'll play defense out there. Now, Boston is 30-3 at home when the total's over 222. So we're not quite there. Does that mean the Knicks are live? I don't know. They lost 5 straight when they're playing their first game of the season on the road. They don't start out well on the road. Boston's 9-0 straight up, 7-2 against the spread when they're playing their first game of the season at home. Some big numbers to remember. But, again, the over for me. When Boston's a home favorite of less than 6.5 points, the over is 9-1. 9-1 of those spots out there. The Knicks, though, careful. 9-3 straight up, 9-3 against the spread in road divisional games last year, including a 6-3 record as a dog in those spots out there. I'm thinking the total. I also don't expect Boston to lose this game. Real fucking put myself out there with that one. But when I say that, I reference it because I did parlay Boston and the Lakers. Now, that might be square as well. You look at these two games, you look at these two teams starting at home, but here's the thing. Everybody knows LeBron James stinks in the first game of the season for the Lakers. Hasn't won one. Line's slightly coming down, slight dog spot, +1.5, now +1s out there for this Lakers team. We have 54% of the bets and 61% of the cash on the T-Wolves. Line's coming down. We got a little small reverse movement. Small. Total's dropping like a stone. 225 down to 222s out there with 86% of the bets and 79% of the cash. On the over, it's coming down. And, I love an opportunity with these two teams here. Looking at how they're going to play. I like the home teams in these openers. And we just talked about what happens with the Knicks on the road opening their season. What happens with the Celtics at home when they open the season on the road. Neither one of these two teams really made a shit ton of adjustments when it comes to their rosters. And Minnesota's in an under position. Now, the Lakers are 0-9 in the first 3 games of the season against the spread the last 3 years. Not a good spot. They start slow as fuck. But there's so many under trends in this Timberwolves spot. I don't know how they drive the total. Lakers 1-9 against the spread going back to 2022 in October. They're just a slow starting team. 0-8 straight up, 2-6 against the spread. In the dog roll against the Timberwolves since LBJ became a member of the squad. That one stood out to me going, holy shit, when they're a dog against Minnesota, LBJ rolls over. But again, another under 14-3 the last season when Minnesota was a favorite and a total greater than 224. I'm sorry, less than 224. 12-3 is Minnesota to the under in October's. I don't know. This is an ugly game. But I think LeBron comes through with this one here. I think he finds a way to catch that W at +195 spot there. The big thing for me when I was talking about the spreads and the totals with these things is I was looking at kind of the money line movement, right? We like to do that when they're one-pointers. Let me see if I can pull that back up. Where'd it go? Where did you go? Big movement. So we only saw a half a point of movement on the spread because it's 1 point. So you're going to see more of that money coming in on the money line. 49% of the bets and 58% of the cash on the Timberwolves. It dropped 20 cents, minus 130 down to minus 110. The Lakers go from plus 110 to even money. And so I'm going to punt that point. Give me the Lakers. Give me the Celtics tie them together. Catch myself a plus 195 spot. Couple that with the over in Boston. We got ourselves some action. I'll tell you another one. You want a little player prop extraordinaire? Might be a good opportunity to look at a ladder rebounds prop for none other than Anthony Davis. Right now is 12.5. Well, it was even money. And I just think this is a situation where we've got opening night. People missing balls all over the place. This guy should feast 15, 16, 17. I don't think he goes any higher than 16, but let's see what this ladder looks like here just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's see. I don't see it here. I'll have to look it up elsewhere. Oh no, that's why. That's why. Anthony Davis, 14 plus is plus 180 at FanDuel. His number's 12.5, and it's catching steam. He's 14 plus at plus 180. 15 plus goes to plus 225. I don't know if I'd go 16 plus 380 at that point. Either way, FanDuel's the prop book anyways. That's the spot to play that if you're going to get involved in the game. I think you should. I think it's a good look, but for us, Brian Smith says you're assuming speaking. And that I am. ZC says Trent is on 80s. Oh, perfect. How about that? Sometimes shit just works out the way it's supposed to, doesn't it? And we clobbered this big card in 58 minutes and 13 seconds, you guys. If you haven't, make sure you hit that thumbs up button here tonight. Bless our action. It's good luck. It's good juju to hit that thumbs up button. It helps your action. Puts goodwill across the board for everybody else's action. It helps us to let them know we're here doing this thing on the regular. So he says he's down 18K betting 8. Man, remember last year? We kicked the shit out of a bunch of props last year. We're going to get back to it. There was another one I wanted to give you guys too. Let me look at this. If you're into the prop game, I know everybody's got different strokes for different folks here, but I happen to like to bet some props. I'm not against throwing down a couple hundo in a parlay and seeing if that thing comes to fruition for me. What I wanted to give you guys. Where'd it go? Skinner. Not the Skinner in goal. The Skinner on the second line for the Edmonton Oilers. Over 2.5 shots on goal. Plus 140 for this guy. My boy texted that to me earlier today, and I thought it made a lot of sense. He's moved up to that second line. He's in play on it. And 2.5 for this guy. Second line, and he gets power play time as well. It just seems like there's a low-hanging fruit situation at that plus 140 to take a look at. So if you're looking at Anthony Davis, 12 plus rebounds, and you parlay that with Skinner at 2 plus shots on goal, that should be a little plus money opportunity for you guys. And that one just really came down to, my boy was telling me, it just comes down to the fact that he's moved up. He's on that second line. He's getting plenty of ice time with, I believe it was Draisaitl that's in the game with him as well. And that's a little spot that I jumped in on as well that I took a little side action with. So have some fun with it. Do what you guys have to do tonight to get that cash. But I'm excited, man. This is going to be a big night of hockey for us. Big night of action and play. And it all paves way for the Thursday night football co-stream with our guy, Razor. Razor Sharp Picks. Excuse me, Razor. Giving you a shout out and I'm coughing, choking. But it's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. Until then, until tomorrow, I should say. Jeez, we're not going anywhere just yet. But until tomorrow, on behalf of Sports Money, make sure you check out Ramon Scott. 9 a.m. the morning steam. Going to give you guys the full breakdown of tomorrow's card. Big NBA action. I know my guy Ramon loves them basketball hoops, and he's going to give you guys a full rundown for the game. We'll get back after it. There's only one hockey game tomorrow, so we don't have a ton going on under that side of things, but we will have a nice card with college football and the rest. We'll get more into the NBA. We'll come in with a player prop for you guys in the NBA tomorrow as well. We'll prop parlay to get her moving. A little difficult when there's only the 2 games out there. But let's go. Let's have ourselves a night. KV, Big Scott, Brian Smith, Peter Gracia, top motherfucker in here. He's got a 5-leg parlay. I like the name. I like the name. 5-leg parlay on Boston. Randall over 18.5 points. Anthony Davis over 1.5 blocks. LeBron over 6.5 assists. And Reeves over 14.5 points. There you go. That's a clever way to do it. That's how you become the top motherfucker in there. Let's go. Brian Smith, ZC33. Appreciate you guys rocking. Trisha M. Nathan Cerna. J Main 34. Marcus, Red Sox, Patriots. Our guy Razor Sharp. Ayo D Coin. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Dale Fick. My dude. Let's go, you guys. Let's have a big night tonight. We'll come back here tomorrow. We'll talk about all the W's that we had. All the money that we made. And until then, I'll see you guys real soon. Thanks for checking us out. Hit that thumbs up. See you tomorrow. 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Pregame.